Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Business Meets Fitness podcast with your host Lauren Tickner, and I am so excited about today's episode. I know you are going to absolutely love it so much. And if you've ever had any doubts about what you can achieve, then this podcast is about to crush all of those self-limiting beliefs, and you are going to truly be able to see what is possible. Because in today's episode, I'm bringing on Tara Hall, and Tara is somebody who decided to invest in herself and do my personal branding course, Impact Through Influence. Now, I'm just going to quickly say that this is not going to be talking about Impact Through Influence the whole entire time. Tara and I are literally having a chat about how you can earn money through your personal brand, about the struggles she's had when it comes to building her personal brand, some tips that Tara has for anybody who's wanting to perhaps shift from an in-person personal training business or just an in-person business onto an online business, and just all that type of stuff. So that's exactly what we talk about. We talk about so much. So if you're someone who has perhaps doubted yourself and you don't really realize how possible it all is, then this podcast is the podcast for you. And if you're someone that's wanting to build an online fitness business, then I have a free email training for you, and it's linked in the show notes. And I also have a free email training if you're wanting to build your personal brand, so make sure to jump on that. But if you're ready to invest in yourself and if you're ready to just take the leap, then Impact Through Influence is left in the show notes as well. If you're listening to this before the 29th of May 2018, then you can grab Impact Through Influence with the added bonuses, because that's what I've been doing this week. And you know, it's Sunday the 27th on the day that this podcast comes out, so you've only got a few days. And if not, I'm sorry, make sure to head to that page and register on the email list so that you can get access as when it comes back out again, because the cart is going to be closed if you get there after the 29th. So anyway, let's get into today's episode of the podcast with Tara Hall. Tara, welcome to the Business Meets Fitness podcast. So I'd love it if you could just give a little bit of background about, I guess, how you came across me and everything that I'm doing.
Thank you so much for having me on here. So, well, I came across you, it must be like 2 years ago now. So, you know, when you were doing the videos for when you did the British finals for bikini competitor, yes, when you were doing bikini competing and stuff, I came across you like probably a couple months before that. So can't remember how. It was on YouTube, and I came across your channel somehow. I think it might have been from like recommended from someone else's. And I just literally binge watched all your videos, and I think I commented on a few, and I was like, oh my God, I've literally just binged on these.
I love it. That is so funny.
Yeah, and then obviously I found you on Instagram and stuff, and then I think I've kind of followed you more since you've changed into more personal branding kind of stuff rather than fitness. So yeah, that is kind of how I found you. And then obviously you launched the course, and I was like, oh my God, right, I need to get on that straight away, and just literally signed up straight away, and here I am.
Yes, and you were one of the very first people who actually jumped on the course. Now, for anyone who's listening to this right now, this isn't going to be a massive sales pitch. I just wanted to bring Tara onto the podcast today because I think it's really cool, just everything that she's doing. And it's just an extremely inspirational story, given that Tara only really started, I suppose, really focusing on building her personal brand pretty recently. So Tara, would you just be able to give a bit of a background about what it is exactly that you do and what your aims are through your content, so that the listeners can get a bit of a better idea?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm a personal trainer, and I'm also an online coach. So I work with women, and I help them improve the relationship with food by lifting weights and actually enjoying their food as well. So I actually started personal training. I've been self-employed for a year now. So I was working out of a gym, and then I kind of outgrew that gym very quickly. I opened my own studio, which I'm still in now. And then I think it has been since like December, January time, I've really like focused on building my own personal brand, because from having that studio, I've found that it's hard to do that on your own, and to take time off, it's really hard. So I need to build that passive income, which is why when I saw you do that course and you advertising it, I was like, right, I need to like get on that. I need to like start building my brands more, so I can have a bit more of a passive income, and I haven't got to be in my studio like 24/7 as well.
Yeah. I think that's also a massive thing when it comes to fitness coaching and personal training. It's it's not as scalable as it is online, because online you can have these digital products that literally you can just sell to as many people as possible, and it's not that you're having to constantly trade the time for money. So you've obviously done a great job from this. So just to give the listeners a bit of a background, and I did mention this in a previous podcast episode that I did, because I mentioned you just about the success that you've had. Would you just be able to share with them just kind of the income changes that you've had since you've been, on this course and building your brand?
Yeah, definitely. Right. So if we go back to like when I was personal training, I was earning between 2 and 3 grand a month, but I was working like so many hours, it was ridiculous. And I didn't really have any online income at all. So going from that to now having my own studio, I'm working literally 20 hours a week, less than now, like 15 hours a week actually in my studio, and the rest is online. And I've just had my first 5K month, which I was literally, when I worked it out on, when was it, Friday, I messaged you. I said to you, oh my God, I've hit my first 5K.
Yeah.
And I'm literally so excited. So I have to obviously tell you, but it's because from your course, it's just helped me structure everything.
Okay.
And
tell me more.
Build my email list. Okay, it's basically email lists. It's helped me structure that. So how in your course you've said like within a list you can like segment it basically. I've done that, and then the email automations as well, and also like lead campaigns and things. Literally like the free books and things. I haven't been able to do that on a free site, and then how to advertise it and how to really niche down. I think that's been the main thing for me, is how to actually niche down and talk to who I want to talk to and help who I actually want to help.
Amazing. So how have you done that?
Yeah, so I think I was going through, before I did your course, I was kind of a bit lost and I was talking about everything. Whereas now I've really nailed down on helping women burn fat, but building up the relationship with food so they can stop binge eating and stop restricting themselves on food. Okay. So it's basically just nailing down on that really, and talking to my ideal client, and just keeping all my details there, like emails and everything. So yeah, to be honest, I'm taking better pictures. I've got a new phone as well, so I can take better pictures.
Oh my God, that is dedication to the game, but it does make a massive difference. And so I like what you said about niching down. Now this is something that is going to be what takes you from, earning that average kind of income to really the big money. Now it's crazy because you even said in your message to me, you haven't even finished the course and you're already having these 5K per months, right? Now just imagine, this is just the beginning. And this is the craziest thing about having, like, I'm building your personal brand, is like, there is the possibilities are truly endless. And I think that you've just had a really open mind towards it, because I think a lot of times people will think, oh, I'm not special. All these people I see on social media have hundreds and thousands of followers. But Tara, how many followers do you have?
I've got 5,400 followers. So I haven't got like loads of followers.
It's still it's a good following, but it's not like hundreds and hundreds of thousands. But the difference is like, how to monetize it, and that's what's really cool. Yeah. So what kind of, for anybody who's listening, who's perhaps an in-person personal trainer, and maybe they're wanting to make that shift into the online world, what would you say some of your biggest tips are, and the things that you would say are like the go-to thing for anyone who's wanting to make that pivot?
Just be consistent online, like keep posting and actually giving value. So first of all, think about who you actually want to target, and then listen to your customer as well. Like, I can't stress how important that is. Like, listen to what people are saying, because some things that I've tried in the past, I've done it because I want to do it, not because people have wanted that. So for me, it's been actually listening to the person and knowing what they want and speaking to them in a language that they've spoke to me, if that makes sense. So if they say to me, oh, I'm really struggling with binge eating, then do a post on binge eating or something like that, or do an email on it, and then they're more likely to keep following you.
Yeah, no, that's really good.
And just showing up really. And I've found lately, because I've been doing a lot more live videos and stuff in my Facebook groups and on Instagram, and just been showing up a bit more on the stories and things and talking. So I found that's really helped me. But I think a lot of personal trainers kind of get stuck on, like, they kind of think they're busy, but they're not. And there was one module on your course that was like a game changer for me, and that was a content batching.
Okay.
I found that like so helpful. So, and the morning routine actually. So every single morning I'll get up at 5:00 and I'll do like an hour of content creation, because I find that is the time I can just get up and get on with it.
Love it. Yeah, your brain's firing.
Yeah. And then obviously if you do like videos once a week, you've only got to put makeup on once a week as well.
That's literally the
That's
biggest
what I
thing.
like.
I know right now I'm literally sat here, no makeup on. Like that's genuinely my main love of content batching, because it means that I don't have to put makeup on and I can literally just be a gremlin.
I know.
Khakis. Yeah. It's so true. I love that. And
that's so true.
Yeah, I think the thing is, Tara, like, that's very evident, is you have been willing to just take the action. You don't have to be perfect, and you're aware of that. And the thing is, I think so many people don't even want to start building their personal brand or their online fitness business or whatever it happens to be, because they're afraid of not being perfect, and they're afraid that they're going to fail. So what have been perhaps some of your biggest struggles or self-limiting beliefs, and how have you overcome them?
I think it's like really actually believing that you can earn that money, because it kind of seems like so far off, but then when you do it you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I did that. Then you're like, right, I can do it, like now I need to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably the main thing for me. Like, even though I've thought to myself, yeah, I think I can do it, I think deep down there was always that self-doubt there. So I think you just need to get in there, try different things, because not everything's going to work. I've had times when like no one signed up to a program, but then I just don't talk about it and move on.
Exactly. Me too. I've had it as well. I've had it even not incredibly recently, because now I'm a lot kind of clearer on how to do the research about it. And this is something that I'm always banging on about. But it's like, you know, you have to get validation for the idea before you actually dive all in on the idea, to save you wasting all that time, right? And I know this is something that I mentioned to you in our private Facebook group. It's about, I think you said something about like, you've just had your first 5K month, like how can you keep making this happen or something? And it's just about just truly accepting that it's possible, like knowing that you can. And I think that a money mindset is something that so many, like a bad money mindset is something that so many people struggle with. They're like, perhaps they're a personal trainer, and because they're a personal trainer, they're like, I'm a personal trainer, that means I earn 40K a year. And so they're kind of like, yep, I earn 40K a year. And then they just constantly just are accepting of that. And if someone, they would just say, oh, I earn 80K a year, it would just sound so far off, because they don't truly believe it's possible, because it's not what they know.
Yeah.
But it's about taking those steps and constantly reminding yourself, no, I am worthy of this. And just remember that money is simply a byproduct of the value you put out into the world. And as a personal trainer, you have, and an online fitness coach, whatever, you have so much potential to put so much value out into the world. So Tara, I'd love to know, I guess, maybe what are some of the things that you have found to be really, really great for you content-wise?
Content-wise, so the things you recommended, like the websites for YouTube, have been quite good. Like where you type, no, the keyword one.
Oh yeah. I'll leave that linked in the show notes for this podcast.
Actually, yeah, the keyword one. Yeah. Because if you type in a phrase, it brings up like loads of things on there.
Yeah.
So that's been really good for content creation. And also, what I've recently done actually is I did a 7-day free fat loss challenge.
Oh yeah.
And before each person joined the Facebook group, they had to put name, email, and what their biggest struggle is with diet and fitness. So in their own words, they literally gave me exactly what they're struggling with. So the content that I create now is tailored specifically to them, using their own language.
Yeah, I love that so much. And this is one of the hacks that I always give, is like, because you want to be using the language that these people are using, because then they feel like you're literally speaking directly to them. And something that I always recommend is kind of maybe go into Facebook groups that are related to your niche and see what those people are writing, see the words that they're using, maybe even go and look at their Facebook or their Instagram posts. see what they're commenting, how they're wording things. Like you mentioned earlier, something about binge eating. Instead of saying overeating, they're saying the word binge eating. Now, obviously, when it comes to like binge eating, you have to be careful because of all the kind of eating disorder rules and all that. But obviously, I know that you're very careful with that. But it's just a really smart way to get people to really feel like you understand them, and it's like all about understanding your ideal client. So Tara, I'd actually love to kind of maybe shift gears a little bit, just to ask you, I guess, what made you realize that you were capable of building a personal brand? Why did you not let the fears of doubt and insecurity hold you back? Because so many people feel like they can't do it. Like, and it really upsets me because literally, everyone who's built a personal brand is literally just a normal person, but the only difference is that they've taken action, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's a good question. I think, well, I've always wanted to do it, but I never kind of knew that I was scared of doing it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I just never took action, but I always thought, I can do it. But I never did anything about it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I remember, like you said, like they're just a normal person. Like if I can do it, you can do it, if that makes sense. So if one person can do it, why can't someone else build their brand? So it's just learning how to do it, isn't it? And also, I do think it comes easier to some people than others, because some people are naturally like more out there and on camera and stuff like that. But with practice, you can become better. Like in the group, you said about your first YouTube video. Can you remember that? So I actually went and watched it, and I was like, oh my God, she's just like us. Thank God.
Exactly. That's the thing. I mean, I think just because let's take me for an example. You see me being all confident on YouTube. Seriously, like anyone who's listening to this right now, go watch my first YouTube video and you will realize that I've come a long way. It's so true. It's so true. Okay, cool. And so then I suppose when it comes to making content, do you feel confident with it now?
Do I feel confident, did you say?
Yeah. In front of the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel a lot more confident actually in front of the camera now. I think like it is just practice. Like I look back at my first few YouTube videos, because I've been really on and off with it the last few years. But I've now kind of really stuck at it a little bit more.
Nice.
And my first videos were horrendous, but it is just that practice. And just like I find doing it with a friend is quite nice as well, because you're kind of like talking to each other and bouncing off each other. But yeah, it does take time. I still feel stupid in front of people doing it. Like I still have to go and like in my studio on my own and do it, but that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. And it's part of the process. I think the same thing goes, I mean, I think especially as time goes on, vlogging and making video content, making audio content is just going to become more and more normal. Like, even now I've been walking down the street in London or something, and I see people vlogging, and it's becoming much more normal. And it's going to be interesting just thinking about it. Like, 20 years from now, is everyone just going to be holding a camera up in front of their face? Like,
oh my God, can you imagine? Yeah.
Isn't that a weird thought? It's crazy, but I think it also comes down to realizing, like, if you're not sharing this value and this information, then you're actually holding back the potential for you to help somebody. And I think that's, when it comes to building your personal brand and you build up this platform, then like you mentioned earlier, Tara, you're going to be able to talk to your ideal client, and you're going to actually be able to change their life, even if they aren't buying a product or a service from you. And that's really cool, because yes, it's cool to make a bunch of money, but it's also even cooler to make an impact in the world and leave a legacy. So what's kind of, I guess, for you, the most important thing when it comes to your personal brand? What's your goal from it?
My goal from it is, just building it still from now. I mean, I want to build my following a bit more, and just be able to reach more people, because the feedback that you get from some people doing the online thing is so rewarding. And when people say, oh, thank you so much, you've changed my life, it just feels so good to be able to help someone like overcome their food issues and actually get in shape by eating actual food and not just being stuck in that binge eating restriction kind of mindset. And it's just it changes people's whole lives, doesn't it? Like people get so depressed and stuff about it, and when they can actually overcome that and actually feel good in themselves, then they notice they've got more energy, their skin's better, they can spend more time with their kids and stuff, and just like their whole life basically changes. So if you don't do it, then you're actually doing them a disservice if you think about it like that, because you're not helping them, are you?
Yeah, that's exactly what I think as well. And I mean, you know, if you're a personal trainer in person or whatever it is, whatever, every single job is solving some sort of solution, right? But when you then take it online and start building that personal brand, no matter what industry it's in, even if you're frigging, I don't even know, like teaching people how to make mugs, or if you're teaching people how to code, or if you're teaching people how to, I don't even know, take photos, like, you're able to solve a problem on a much larger scale. And the example that I always give inside Impact Through Influence is like a dating expert. So let's just say you're using, let's say you're always coaching someone on, like, I don't know, how to get a girlfriend, right? Because you're trying to help really shy young boys who can't get a girlfriend for the life of them because they're too shy. Well, if you were to then take that online and start making videos about how to do it, and you're going to be able to help even more people. And look, the first time you make the video, you might feel shy and you might feel silly, right? Because you might think, like, who am I to be able to share all this information with these people? Why would all these people listen to me? I'm not qualified enough to share this information. But here's the truth. You are. You just have to constantly make sure that you're educating yourself around the topic, and that what you're saying is obviously, you know, actually true and accurate. And just backing yourself. I think that that's a big thing. I don't know what you think, Tara, but I think a lot of people just don't back themselves enough.
Yeah, definitely. Totally agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So then when it comes to, I suppose, maybe just, I guess, some of the biggest struggles you've had with building up a personal brand, what have you found them to be, and have you been able to overcome them?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this the other day, actually. Like, I think I get quite anxious about things and feel quite overwhelmed because I feel like there's so much to do sometimes. And then you kind of just get stuck and just don't do anything because you're so overwhelmed.
Right,
and then you feel anxious about it. So then you just don't do anything. So that's been my main struggle. But I found just having that structure, trying to get a morning routine in if I'm not in the studio early, and actually putting in my diary when I'm going to do things like the content creation, when I'm going to, I don't know, put a post on Facebook, trying to schedule my posts a bit more and things, but also writing out like the Instagram captions, like all in one go and stuff. So I've got like 3 to use. And if it's a nice day, just taking some pictures, doing some workout videos and stuff like that. I think that's been the thing that's helped me the most and just helped me try and overcome that overwhelm that I think everyone gets, to be honest, don't they? When they're working on their own brands.
Yeah, and I think that that's a really important point because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Building a personal brand is hard, just like building any business is. The personal brand is literally just the business of you. And yes, you can monetize it through your own online fitness coaching or however the hell you want to. But the important thing is, like, we're all human and we all struggle. And I have been going through a massive issue at the moment where I don't know what content to post because I just want to provide valuable, informative content, but my audience wants to see vlogs and full day of eating videos, but that doesn't necessarily, add the value to their lives that I want to be adding. But then maybe it does add the value to their lives because that's what they're asking for. So it can be really hard sometimes, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. And I think,
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and I think at the same time, just because it's hard, well, if it's hard, then that's, another challenge. And if you can then overcome that challenge, it's just adding to you as a person. It's building up your character. Like they used to say back in the day when they tried to persuade us to do Duke of Edinburgh at school, it's character building.
It's true.
It really is true. And I think that, the positives will sure as hell outweigh the negatives when you get hundreds and hundreds of messages. It doesn't even need to be hundreds. Even if you get one message from someone saying that you've changed their lives, I can't even tell you how amazing that feels. Like, I literally cannot even tell you. Like, Tara, when you messaged me saying that you've had your first 5K month, I literally was just so happy because I was like, this means that what I'm talking about is helping you, like it's changing your life, right? And it's so awesome and it's such a cool feeling. And then the ripple effect is you're now able to help more people on a larger scale. And so that's the beauty of it. Like through every person that you help through your content, they're the person who read that content and who absorbed that content and who is now living a happier and healthier life is then going to give this ripple effect, because then the people that they're around are going to also feel happier and healthier as well, because this person's happier and healthier, and it just literally just is just adding so much more happiness and positivity to the world. So it's so powerful. It's literally so powerful. So Tara, like, I'd love to know what the next steps are for you. What are your big plans with your personal brand, and where? In fact, first, I want to know, where do you see yourself a year from now?
Oh, where do I see myself a year from now? Employing someone for my business, so I haven't got to be in there as much. And having a larger following on Instagram and YouTube so I can impact more people. And being able to just travel a bit more, actually. Have that, not like travel all the time, but just, I haven't been on holiday since I got back from Australia like 3 years ago. So I definitely need a holiday and just go away at some point and not have to worry about it too much, because I can still do some work from my laptop. But yeah, that's the goals at the minute, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about it, because I mean, I am a massive lover of traveling, and I think traveling is just something, it's when you work as hard as like I do, and I'm sure you do as well, then well, you do deserve it. And it's awesome because when you have built up this passive income, and look, there's no such thing as a passive income, but you can automate your income. That's kind of like how I like to think about it. You can pretty much, you can go and travel and you can still be earning money while that's happening. Like, let's say you're doing online fitness coaching, then you can literally do your client check-ins sat on a beach in the middle of the Maldives if you really want to. And people kind of make jokes about this all the time, and they're like, oh, you just want it so that you can travel the world and just work naked in your fancy Maldives like villa or whatever. But like, if you want to do that,
like,
then
why not?
Exactly, right? You've earned it because you've been smart enough to make the most of the current social climate and the current technology. And I think that's what it really is. It's just, taking that action, realizing that the action doesn't have to be perfect, and just riding with it and realizing that it's possible. Like, for example, this summer I'm going on holiday like 5 times, and I'm still going to be earning money while I'm on holiday. Like, and I'm not saying that just to show off to any of the listeners. It's just because it's possible. Like, there's, as I mentioned before, there's no difference between me and anybody else. The only difference is that I took action with it and I realized that it is possible. And Tara, it's going to be very possible for you. So with regards to, I suppose, like products that you sell, services that you offer, would you just be able to break down, I suppose, all the different income streams that you have right now?
Yeah, okay. So I actually have a new program coming out which starts next Tuesday, 29th of May, and that is called my Summer Tone program. That runs for 12 weeks, and that is to support ladies over the summer period so they can still go out and eat the food they like, still enjoy their summer, go on holiday, still have some drinks, but learn how to eat and how to fit it into their calories by exercising and from the home or in the gym. That is my one that's starting next week. Then I've got my one-to-one online coaching, which is for bikini competitors or people who just need to get their results and they're not getting them at the minute, but they want more one-to-one coaching, training and nutrition. I've then got group online coaching, which is usually for ladies who come off my transformation program. They usually then go on to the group one. So they'll have workouts on the app, they'll have sample meal plans and things they can choose from, then support in the group as well. And then I've got my classes at my studio and one-to-one personal training at my studio. So that is pretty much it, to be honest. There's five income streams. Did I just say 5 things or 4?
I think you said 5. But that's really cool. And I love that it's very diversified. And you know that I'm a massive lover of having a value ladder and how important it is to have a value ladder, especially when, building your personal brand, because it means that you can get people inside your community, your paid community, no matter what type of level of support they need, and also based on their income level, because it means that even if they can't necessarily afford your most high ticket item, you can still help them to some degree on your lower ticket items. And that's really cool. So by the way, if anyone actually ends up going over to Tara, then it'd be cool if you let me know as well, because I think, that I'm obviously wanting to support you as a student of mine. So I'd love it if anyone who wants fitness coaching would, go to Tara. I actually recommended you to somebody. Someone asked me the other day if I do bikini prep. And I was like, no, but Tara. So it's cool. It's just like, obviously I want to support you as a student of mine. And so it's really cool to just like see your growth, and you've become so much more confident since, when did we first start talking? When did you enroll?
I was laughing, thinking about my video that I put on the group.
I know. But it's crazy how much you've developed since
3 months?
Something like that. Yeah. It's only been 3 months, right? And this just goes to show, if you take the action, if you put the work in, and if you actually just commit to something, and you can get the results. And I mentioned this on an Instagram story, but you literally earn 5 times the amount that you invested in the course within just 1 month. Yeah. It's crazy when you think about it that way, isn't it?
I mean, you've got to think, it's when you invest in yourself, like it's not an expense. If you think about the return on investment, not on actually how much it's going to cost you. Because for me, the return, like you said, it's been 5 times that just in 1 month. And if I hadn't have gone on your course, then that would have probably taken me like another 2 years on my own trying to learn how to do that. And it's taken me like 2 months.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's crazy as well, because the funny thing is people forget that I've been through it. Like I was there. And I mean, yes, admittedly, I started building my personal brand without even knowing what a personal brand was when I was like 17. But I've made mistakes. And Tara, something that I just really quickly wanted to touch upon was really interesting was when you mentioned all of those income streams, I didn't even hear you say like a sponsor or anything like that. And because I think in the fitness industry, people chase sponsors. Do you have anything to say about
that? To be honest, I'm not really bothered about sponsors. I mean, it's pretty cool to be like sponsored by a company or whatever, but I'm quite happy with my own company, to be honest, and like doing my own thing.
I love that. And I think it's really interesting because I think, to put it into perspective, when I was sponsored by a very well-known fitness company, you right now are already earning over 10 times the amount I was earning per month. So just to put it into perspective to any of the listeners, getting sponsored by a company is not going to be the thing that helps you earn decent money. Yes, sometimes it might give you good exposure, but you don't necessarily even need that exposure if you really niche down, because your people will find you anyway. So that's just my little 2 cents on that. But Tara, this has been awesome. And I think that this has just been I just hope that this is going to allow the listeners to realize, if they just start taking action and start trying to build their personal brand today, you don't know what's going to be possible 3 months from now. Like, it is truly
definitely.
Yeah, like it's just, even if personally I think about myself, like maybe a year ago, I never would have imagined that I'd be in this position that I am today. And it's just about realizing, when you realize what you truly are worthy of and what is truly possible in this life, then I think you just got to be open-minded, and you are just going to have these things happen to you that you never realized were going to be possible. And then they start happening. And that's because you're putting the work in. That's because you realize it's possible. And that's because you're not afraid to take the time and effort into doing things and just taking that action. So, it's been great having you on today, Tara. Yeah. I don't know if there's any final words of...
thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been cool. It's been great to chat to you on a deeper level, because obviously, you're in the private Facebook group for the course and stuff, but it's nice to actually just be able to chat to you and just really hear about everything that you're doing. I don't know if you have anything else that you'd like
thanks so much for having me on here.
Don't know if there's anything else that you'd like to leave with the listeners today.
Just if you are wanting to build your personal brand and earn more money basically, then I would really recommend Lauren's course, because I really wouldn't be where I am today without doing that. So
Shameless plug.
definitely have a look on, shameless plug. And if you're looking to get in shape this summer,
yes,
join the Summer Tone program.
Love it. Definitely. No, for sure. I mean, I think that it would be a great thing for any of the listeners to do. And I hope that they then go over and follow you now. Check out your page. I will leave all of your social media content linked in the description box. But you're pretty much just Tara Hall Fitness across everything, right?
Yeah, across everywhere, literally. Tara Hall Fitness, easy. Well, hopefully it's quite easy for people to remember.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on today.
You can remember that.
It's
Thank
all
you
good.
for having me.
See you later. That wraps up today's episode of the Business Meets Fitness podcast. I hope you've absolutely loved it. It was really interesting to me talking to Tara, because obviously I hope and I'm confident that my courses deliver value and that they just, have so much information in them. But when I get messages like this, it just makes me truly realize how amazing they are. Because look, as Tara said, she would not have been able to do it for years to come if she hadn't have invested in Impact Through Influence. She earned 5 times the initial investment within just 30 days. That just speaks for itself, and I'm so happy and so proud, and it just gets me so flipping excited. So again, I've left the link to enroll now if you are keen in the show notes. Until Monday at midnight, you have, I did not formulate that sentence properly. I meant to say you have until Monday the 28th at midnight to get your bonuses, because if you do it before then you get the free productivity, health and happiness course that Tara referred to. She referred to the morning routine. That is in the productivity course. That gives you over 11 extra free video modules worth over £300 if you enroll before Monday at midnight. And after then the cart's going to be closed and you're not going to be able to get it until version 2.0 comes out. And I can tell you now that version 2.0 is going to be double the price, so you want to get in there now. And if you enroll now, you will of course get free access to version 2.0 as well. You get lifetime access with these courses, so you can also go at it at your own pace and all that as well. So anyway, that is that from me today, and I will see you in the next episode of the Business Meets Fitness podcast. And please don't forget to share.